if you're new here, I'm Kanitsi, and if you're already watching my One Piece Chill channel, welcome back. Today I have a bit of a different video for you. I made a collaboration with Roronoa's Arc. It's a channel that you might want to check out if you like reviews for One Piece chapters and some analysis and thoughts on One Piece manga. You will be really interested in these videos. So check out his channel. We made a collaboration discussing a specific topic that's been Shiryu against Mihawk. We are going to talk about the motivation and how this fight is going to go, if it will happen. So on my channel we will talk about motivation, and then for the next part you'll have to go to Roronoa's Arc channel to watch it, the second part about the fight itself. How would it go in our minds, and what will it mean then for the story? And we'll also talk maybe a bit about Shanks and Blackbeard. So it might be a very interesting discussion for you if you are interested in this topic. I hope you will enjoy it, and without further ado, let's go. Hey, so let's start our discussion.
All right, hey, let's talk about Mihawk and let's talk about Shiryu.
Okay, so my idea is that Mihawk is actually going to fight Shiryu. So first of all, what are your general thoughts on that? Do you think it's possible at all?
Yeah, I mean, so it's been one of the longest standing theories, I think, in the One Piece community, at least since I started reading One Piece. And I never understood why these two would meet. I think it'd be cool. I always thought it'd be cool, but I never understood why they'd meet. And so I was waiting for a good motivation for Mihawk to meet Shiryu, but you told me about one that you came up with that I really liked. So why don't you talk about that?
Okay, so I actually think that Oda had this thing in the making for quite a long time because he sent Perona a long time ago to Mihawk's Island, and we maybe didn't know like why would she go there, because she wasn't really needed there for Zora's training during the time skip, but she was there. And then in the chapter 925, I checked the number, so it's called Blank, and it's actually a very cool chapter because we see Perona talk to Mihawk. We know she was still there, so she stayed with him for a long time, and this establishes the connection between them. And we see that he cares for her, and they cooked for each other, and like it doesn't even need to be romantic or anything. They do care about each other. They got attached to each other, and I think that's why Perona was needed on Mihawk Island, to be this catalyst, because in this chapter she learned about Moria, that he is alive, and probably it was written like where he is right now, and we saw her rush out probably to get to Moria because he is like a father to her and she wants to get there. And then right after their conversation we go to Beehive Island, actually like right the next page, and there we see Moria interact with like everyone on Beehive Island, with Katarina Devon, and then also Shiryu is shown to us, and we know it's established that he got this new fruit, Absalom's fruit. And I think first of all that it's no coincidence that right after this conversation with Mihawk we get the Beehive Island with Shiryu and Moria, and also that Perona will be that reason, that catalyst that will make Mihawk meet Shiryu at the end, because he will go to save her, to help her somehow, because she will be in danger there. And there he will meet Shiryu, and while trying to protect Perona or something like that, then he will fight him.
100%, yeah. And I wouldn't have agreed that Mihawk cared about Perona unless Oda specifically went out of his way to kind of show that. Like,
Yeah.
even when the Marines were approaching his island to capture him, or when the abolition of the warlord system became official, he even told her that it'd probably be best if she
Yeah,
left, right? And
yeah,
that was probably for her safety. So he clearly does care about her.
Yeah, you mentioned a very important thing here because I looked at this chapter today and there are a few instances. First of all, he tells her to be safe, stay safe. Uh, Like it
Mm.
doesn't matter the exact translation. So he does care about her safety. And then, yeah, he says it's for the best that you are living because it's not safe on this island anymore, basically. So he wants her to be okay and in a safe place. And it also gives me the feeling, since he said that it's not safe on this island anymore and all of that, maybe he himself might also, it's actually like maybe connected to one of your latest videos where you were talking about Mihawk and like will Marines be able to capture him or defeat him. I just had this idea today too that he might actually leave even before the Marines get there, and maybe he will leave just without specific goal, but then he will learn that Perona is in danger, and then he will go there to Beehive Island or wherever she's going to be.
Yeah, I think that's a really good theory. That's why I didn't really understand why Mihawk would flee, but I did think it was a possibility, just because, we saw him during Marineford when he didn't want to fight Shanks, he just left. So Mihawk kind of just does his own thing. If he feels like fighting, he fights. If he doesn't, he doesn't, and he has nothing to prove. So yeah, he could very easily just leave, and I think that one thing to note is it seems like Mihawk is really on top of the news. So it
Yeah.
feels if I feel like he would find out that Moria is captured by Blackbeard, and he'd kind of put the pieces
Yeah.
together. Okay, Moria is captured by Blackbeard. That means Perona's going after Moria and going to Blackbeard's lair, which means that she's in danger.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Also, the thing you mentioned that he is usually by himself doing his own thing, I think that's also very important because it was established. And then we saw that he tells Perona, I let you live here. And she did live here with him for quite some time. And he didn't try to make her leave or anything. He was just taking it. And I think that's actually very important because he is actually a person who enjoys his own company. He has this whole island to himself. He wants to be there alone, but he lets Perona stay. So I think that's also a very important thing to note that Oda used to establish their relationship. And so for us, it doesn't seem strange that he's going to save this random girl, right? Because she does mean something to him right now. So I think that's also a very important thing about his personality that you mentioned.
Yeah, and I want to go back to a point that you mentioned is being that there's really no reason that Perona should be there training or being around Zoro and Mihawk training,
Yeah,
right? There was no reason for her to be there, but we know how well Oda likes to develop things way far in the past that come to fruition in the future. And it just occurred to me as you were talking, as you said this point, that maybe he sent Perona to be with Zoro and Mihawk just to set up this future battle or
yeah.
this future motivation for Mihawk to go after the Blackbeard pirates.
Yeah, I think there's also like the thing you said also made me think that this could be a motivation for Oda because just hear me out. We have Luffy and we have Zora and we have kind of figures that they look up to, so to say, and it's Mihawk and Shanks. And here we also have this parallel in Blackbeard Pirates. We can assume that Blackbeard pirates are kind of our main enemy, so to say, if there is a main enemy besides world government, maybe. And here we have Blackbeard himself, and we have Shiryu, who is a swordsman. So I think this parallel goes very well, because it would be strange, for example, if Zoro would fight Mihawk, in my opinion, because they already established such a teacher-student relationship, such a close relationship, that I just can't see it happening. It would be really strange, to be honest, right? Like Mihawk just training Zoro so Zoro can defeat Mihawk. I think it would make a lot more sense if Mihawk go against Shiryu, and we'll talk about like how the fight would go in the other part. But now I just want to say that if he goes against Shiryu and if he loses, then Zoro will have to go against Shiryu to claim the title of the greatest swordsman, and then he will not have to fight Mihawk. And then in another parallel, we have Shanks and Blackbeard, where if Shanks is defeated for Blackbeard, for example, it also allows Luffy to get connected to Blackbeard and to get the motivation to fight Blackbeard and avenge like the man he is looking up to and he inherited will from, we can say. So what do you think? Does this parallel make sense in your eyes?
Yeah, absolutely. There's the Shanks and Mihawk versus the Luffy and Zoro parallel, and then there's the Shanks, Blackbeard, and the Mihawk Shiryu parallel. There's so many parallels, and even in the recent anime episodes, we see how far back Shanks took an interest in Blackbeard when he was first recruited into Whitebeard's crew.
Mm-hmm.
They knew each other since they were kids. Buggy and Shanks talked about how Blackbeard was a monster, so they have
Yeah,
that history.
yeah, and the
And and the what?
scar on his face,
Oh yeah,
Shanks'
yeah,
face. It was inflicted
yeah,
by Blackbeard.
yeah, exactly. And going back to your point about Zoro not fighting Mihawk, I know everybody wants them to fight, and I know it's been built up for 20 something years, but it's like you said, it's a weird thing because Mihawk is the teacher. He trained Zoro to become stronger, and he specifically said that what motivated him to train Zoro or to agree to train Zoro wasn't that wasn't for him to be able to take Mihawk down. It was more so because Zoro put his own ambitions aside for Luffy's
Yeah,
ambitions, so he respected that. So for Zoro to like kill Mihawk or these
yeah,
wild theories about them fighting to the death, I don't see it really.
yeah. I'm glad you agree with me on this. And right, as I mentioned, Shanks also has a scar from Blackbeard, like we were talking about Shanks too, right? And then when he was talking to the world government, we saw him, to Gorosei, and he was talking to Gorosei, he said he wanted to talk about some specific person, and many people assumed he was going to talk about Blackbeard, and he also like goes on and on about how dangerous Blackbeard is, and Shanks already has a scar from Blackbeard, so just kind of falls in one place for me to think about Shanks actually getting defeated by Blackbeard. So what do you think about this also?
Yeah, I think that there's definitely motivation for Shanks to pursue Blackbeard, and I think that narratively speaking, it might be a really interesting turn if Blackbeard, did defeat Shanks, even though I love Shanks. But, the thing about it is that Shanks doesn't have a problem with bad pirates necessarily because I mean he never really went out of his way to go try to defeat Kaido or to go
Yeah,
out of his way to defeat Big Mom to our knowledge, but for some reason Blackbeard is somebody that that doesn't sit well with Shanks. We've seen him
yes,
more than once talk to
yeah,
people about Blackbeard, talk to Whitebeard,
yes.
probably talk to the Gorosei about him. So for some reason, Shanks has a problem with Blackbeard. And so I think that's going to come to fruition. That's going to come to a head, like you said.
Yeah, I think Oda just setting these things up from the very, but not from very beginning, but from very early on. He sets this path both for Mihawk and for Shanks, like slowly pushing us to realization that these like strong players are actually going to go against each other. And also, one thing I wanted to mention is that in One Piece, inherited will is a very important theme, right? And all the generation just and gives its will to a newer generation, right? So older generation goes away, and here we have Mihawk and Shanks who can we can call an older generation, right? And now Luffy, Zoro, they are from a new generation, so they inherit their will, so to say, and move forward. So I think this makes
Yeah.
sense, for the whole theme of One Piece.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it comes down to parallels, like we were talking about earlier. I mean, people parallel Rayleigh to Zoro, people parallel Shanks to Luffy, people parallel, Roger to Ace, Roger to
Yeah.
Luffy. I mean, there's just so many parallels, and history has a way of repeating itself, and motivations have a way of being passed down, it seems like, through generations. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that point.
Yeah, but while we have this, symbol of Shanks giving Luffy the hat, and I think this can be seen as him passing his will to Luffy. Can we say that Mihawk training Zoro was a similar moment, like Mihawk partly passing somehow his will onto Zoro?
Yeah, I really like that point because if Mihawk does get defeated before Zoro gets to fight him, then that would be a really good way to justify it, I think. I think you could say that Mihawk already passed down
Yeah.
something crucial to Zoro before he was defeated, if he is defeated, like you said. So yeah, no, that would give me some closure if Mihawk was defeated before Zoro got to fight him.
Yeah, and I think we talked enough about motivation and how this is also explained by all the hints that Oda gave us. Do you have anything to add on this specific topic, or we can move on to talk about if he actually will get defeated and like how we think this fight is going to go?
Yeah, no, I think we covered motivation. Let's get into the controversial stuff.
Okay, but that would be it for my part. If you want to hear us talk about this matchup, Shiryu versus Mihawk, about this controversial topic and their strengths and power and how this fight is going to go, it's going to be on Roronoa's Arcs channel. So go there and check out the video with the second part of this discussion. But for my channel, that would be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Share your thoughts in the comments down below and see ya!